Do you think cell immunology would become a big area of research in the coming years, given its promise?
Well, absolutely. We are in the middle of it, right? Like how with COVID, you know,
Yeah.
um, I don't have to say this. And it's amazing how India has now the ability to make this vaccine, supply it to the world, help out so many countries. I mean, it's amazing. Um, of course, I wish in India we can do even more fundamental research. We have the production capabilities and things like that, but these ideas, right? And coming up with that, that's the next thing. But I think immunology, you will see it everywhere. Um, Especially, I think so. Cancer immunology is really, really big now. But I would speculate that neuroimmunology is going to be another big thing. Diseases such as, especially in the West, with people, with very good developments in cardiovascular diseases. Now we have, lots of therapies against cancers. I think the next frontier, as people live longer and we can deal with these sort of diseases that affects people in their 40s, 50s to 60s, 70s, and the life is expectancy is going up. The next set is neurodegenerative diseases. Um, and those are soul destroying, right? And not just affects the patient but the whole family, right? Like patients with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, for example. So and again, we are beginning to understand that there are cells in the brain that, not the neurons but the glial cells, they might have a very important role. And there is inflammation. There is a newer appreciation of inflammation in the context of neurodegenerative diseases. So I think that's an area, that's a domain that we are very interested in. We have some interesting preliminary studies going on in the lab, again with mouse models, um, preclinical models. But yeah, I think uh, our immune response, not just in the context of defense, but in the context of even chronic inflammatory diseases, including of the brain, are going to be very important in the future.
And many young people lack a sense of directions on careers to follow after college. What would your advice be to young people who are trying to choose their path in life?
Well, that's a difficult question because I don't think I really thought very much. For me, my life in part is an accident, right? Like, as I said, there were these crossroads, and I took one road inspired by somebody at that moment, and it kind of had worked out. I mean, it's very hard to map so far into the future. But one thing that I would say, pursue your passion. It's not about being, in India, we have this tendency of everybody has to be a doctor or engineer. Um, I think we have to break the stereotype. We have to be passionate and do what we really care about.
Yeah.
um, and it has to be your, not just what other people will think or your parents will say. I mean, there is a little too much in India of what will others say, and this status, how can I tell people what my son is doing or daughter is doing. um, you have to just follow your passion. If it is in the arts, in something creative, if it's being an entrepreneur, like I mean, this is amazing that you have started this forum. And
Thank
you
you.
know because you truly care. Like how much research you did to find out things about me that I have begun to forget. So that is really what I would suggest. And we need to uh, clear our minds of expectations and follow true passion.
With all the experiences that you've had so far, can you share some life principles that your life that have emerged?
Wow, am I that wise now? But no, let's see. I would say again, you know, in thinking independently. I think this is becoming, in this generation of Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and WhatsApp, people don't go for facts anymore. It's very easy to get a tidbit of of opinion, and then there are these influencers and all, and says something, and then a group of people follow.
Yeah.
I think it's time to pause, it's time to reflect, it's time to adopt a scientific method in everything you do, um, you know, albeit understanding that science is not be all and end all. Even science is a process, it doesn't have the answer. And um, so it's this ability to be critical, to be reflective. Is this really correct? you know just because somebody says it, and that might be a great person, but is it applicable to me? um, I think as Indians, we have a lot of treasure. And uh, I have to say, what I learned from my grandmother, for example, or my grandmother's brother, I didn't understood at that time. Uh, but after coming to the US, and I think I discovered India even more. Now, when I go back to India, I travel, I see the history, I read. I'm trying to read the Mahabharata. I mean, it's an unbelievable book, and everything you need to know is probably there. So I think we need to also understand our traditions, not just simply again follow it like a brainwashed, like whatever, right? Um, Not live in the past, but use the knowledge and the traditions of the past, reflect on things, um, and take our own individual decisions without carrying the baggage of our colonial history, for example. Um, so, you know, um, just be independent, be a clear thinker, question,
Yeah.
think before you act, and be aware of the consequences of your actions, right? It is very important, to really, before acting, think, how am I going to affect, no, it's not just about me, my actions, right? How is it going to affect the world broadly? And think about it as much. There is no guarantee of you doing the right thing all the time, but if you have thought enough about it, hopefully, that leads you down the right path and leads everybody down the right path.
Yeah. And that's it. I would like to end the interview by expressing my gratitude to you for taking the time off and sharing your life story and research focus with all of us. And we wish you and the Rockland Ghosh Center all the best in all its research work. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you. I mean, you are an influencer. You are, in a positive way, I'm saying, and you are doing something that is wonderful, that reaches out and inspires people. And congratulations to you. Good luck to you, in your career. We can probably take this up offline if there is anything I can do to discuss with you, or help you in any which way. Feel free to contact me. And so, as your audience, if there is anybody wants to reach out, you know, if there is anything I
Yeah.
can share that might be helpful.